you to bring me back to life someday. Wake up from bliss now that the night has come to pass. I'm now dreaming of a life I hope to live one day. Far away your confusion, understand you are only human. Why try to fake resolution? Look around you, it's all an illusion. Now on my own, never to see summer again. I'm not looking back on what my life became that day. Far away your confusion, understand you are only human. Why try to fake resolution? Look around you, it's all an illusion. Drifting away back into sleep, slumber again. I'm waiting for you to bring me back to life someday. Far away your
Good evening. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm not too quiet or anything like that. How are y'all doing this morning? Ha, nice. Yada 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 yada. Bonk. Hmm. Getting a little irritated with my audio, in all honesty. Okay, it should be better now. And let me test.
The nozzle.
There we go. Long butt. Thank you so much for coming, Yami. I really appreciate it. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I'm super tired this morning. Despite getting like the proper amount of sleep, I need the wake up juice this morning. It's like my body knows it's the weekend. So, okay, so everything is compressed because for some friggin' reason my Bluetooth adapter for my headset is being weird, and also my mouth isn't moving. I'm getting so tired of fucking Windows. I'm getting so tired of this shit. Video 2, why aren't you doing anything? Oh, it's because. Hello. Okay, that's better. Everything sounds compressed because the my wireless headset's going through Bluetooth, and apparently it just now decided to be a pickle. No Angie Ahty Presh B. Okay, yes. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine now. No, it's like man, I was screwing around with this stuff all morning because my webcam wasn't working. I was like, I need the webcam to work if I'm gonna build a PC on stream. I need that to work. So I spent right when I got up, I spent a bunch of time getting this all taken care of. But let me transition over here. There we go. Y'all should be able to see it pretty clearly now. So again, I mean, sorry for the background flicker. I was trying to figure that out this morning also, and I couldn't lessen it enough to have it not be noticeable. So I apologize. All right, so probably get started. So I've got a whole pile of stuff on my workbench right now. Power supply, motherboard, and all that stuff. So I just popped the case out of the box just to kind of, I guess, get the lay of the land, so to speak. And it's a Fractal Design Define 7 Compact, which actually, as ATX cases go, there it is pretty tiny actually. What I thought was neat is I guess this case, the whole top just clips right off. And then there's also a thing that comes with it, which I haven't unpacked yet, which is the lid. And there's like a different lid that has all kinds of openings and little slots in the top and stuff for like if you, I guess, put a radiator up top, which is pretty neat. Why did it just transition? I didn't touch anything. That is the weirdest thing. Wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it sounds different because I'm on a Bluetooth headset. Yeah, I know. I don't know why it just transitioned. I'm so confused by that. That's so weird. But anyway, so there's some things we need to do before I whip the case out. Get all the dirty crap out of here. So I need to put thermal paste and a heat sink on this. Okay, good. So the CPU that I had hanging around was a 6700K and a Which board is this again? Okay, it's a Gigabyte Z170X Gaming 6. Now, I used this board for a little while in a gaming rig that I used to take to LANs. It was great, but I have since upgraded. And this board was laying around, and then after talking to my sister for a little bit, it seemed like I found a good home for it. So now the heatsink I'm going to put on is not one that it's going to be on there permanently. Unfortunately, the heatsink that I chose didn't arrive in time. So that I'm picking up Monday, and I'm probably going to install that off stream. But for right now, this will do. Make sure all these pins are twisted in the correct direction. Now, Intel is kind of funny like that, where these pegs actually need to be turned in the position opposite the arrow to lock. And you just press them down. Click, click, click. There we go. And typically, I like to set all this stuff up outside of the case because it's a lot easier to do it that way. Like if you just move it into the case in one big chunkaroo. And memory. Come on, buddy. There we go. And we're good there. This actually might go pretty quick. Now, and I have an SSD for this. Yes, absolutely. That is very much my color scheme. Black and orange. Yeah, again, sorry about the audio compression stuff. That's kind of, I guess, the nature of Bluetooth. I might have to look into getting some sort of a better headset for these types of streams or something like that. So the SSD I'm going to put in it is a WD Blue 500 gig NVMe. This will be nice for game storage. I got the wrong screwdriver. There we go. So hopefully everybody's Saturday is going well so far. Same, but also purple for me. Yeah, there you go. Can't go wrong with purple. Not at all. So just to clue everyone in, the stuff that's going into this build isn't going to be the fastest stuff in the world. It's not going to be the most exciting thing. But I wanted to do something nice for my sister because she's done a lot for me over the years, and yeah, I just wanted to do something cool. And and she has no idea. Cut the red wire. Hey, Corrosia, welcome. And after going to like LANs and being part of like the whole computer nerd scene for like 20 years, I kind of amassed quite a collection of old stuff, you know, but still usable. So it's been good to me, and I figured I would share with my sister. Let's see. All right, so now that all of this stuff is done, I'm going to pop the power supply into the case. Then take care of a lot of the extraneous stuff. So back to this we go. also interesting that this thing is a removable filter. Yeah, computer cases really have come a long way since when I started doing all this stuff. Well, thank you for putting a positive spin on it, Corrosia. This is it's something that frustrated me, and I was just like, I don't have time for this, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'll figure it out later. Near as I can tell, it might be that I'm having an issue with dirty power or something like that. That's why it's there. Because I switched the webcam from 50 hertz to 60 hertz, and then back again, and nothing seemed to do anything. So I've got a couple of extra wires that don't have a place. A couple of extra wires that don't have a place on the board, like a USB-C connector, which this thing has on the front, but the board does not have that. So, just going to kind of bundle it up there, so it's going to live inside the case. And route some of these other wires. So this is all the front panel stuff that I'm popping out here, like the USB 2 for the front panel, USB 3 for the front panel, and then all of the I/O connectors, like the power switch, power LED, that sort of thing. So all that stuff is routed. Due to the video card I'm putting in, I kind of wanted to put a beefier power supply in there just in case an upgrade happened later on down the road. So it's an Corsair 850. Kind of a basic one, but it'll still do the job. Just feed it the heck in there. There we go. Go in the hole, it's your home. Yes. There we go. And I need screws. Those will help immensely. Oh, good. I always wanted more zip ties. Okay. Nope, I hope I didn't need that. Yeah, there we are. Corrosia got auto-corrected. Wah wah. Can't remember the last time that happened to me. 10 minutes ago. So due to the way that this case works, you have to screw this plate onto the power supply. Screw this plate onto the power supply, and then install the whole thing into the case, which I'm kind of confused on why they did it this way. But I guess, well, it is what it is. So I got a screw ready. I don't know. I've built fractal cases a lot over the years, and they've all been actually pretty good. I'm not typically a fan of their ultra cheap ones because they tend to be a little kind of thin and flimsy, but the defined cases are actually really good. They include a lot of like sound dampening material and are generally pretty quiet. They don't include a lot of fans. This case is no exception. It came with two. But I'm just a tiny bit misaligned here. It came with a front and a back fan, but there's spaces for, I think, 4 more. to be a little overkill for this computer at least. There we go. Stuff gets lined up here. I know y'all can't really see what I'm doing, but you're not missing much, honestly. There we go. So wires that I need to have go up through that one. PCI Express for a video card. CPU power, which is here. I probably could have started the stream an hour later. This is actually going a lot quicker than I thought it would. So typically fractal cases come with like a lot of Velcro type straps on the back of these chassis. I typically replace all these with zip ties because Velcro is kind of annoying in a PC. Right. So as you can see, there's a ton of room behind the motherboard tray to actually route wires and stuff, which I appreciate. Not a lot of case manufacturers are as kind as Fractal in this regard. And it's also kind of neat that you could put two, like 2.5-inch SSDs back here, and all the 3.5-inch hard drives, like the regular hard drives. I am going to be putting one of those in this. Because that's going to be like regular data storage. Which I have a Hitachi Ultrastar 2 terabyte that's going in this. Fitted flimsy sounds like what? Bonk. All right, here we go. I got my grommets. Got my grommets. It's a seaweed used in Japanese cooking. Putting the grommets in the tray. Yeah, there we are. That's typically how that works. Yeah, that's the stuff. Perfect. I got some special screws for the hard drive tray. Yeah, 938, yes. I've been up since 4:30 because due to my job, it has literally destroyed my ability to sleep in. Honestly, I don't know why I even use an alarm clock anymore, to be honest. Doo-doo-doo. All right. So basically how this works is once you get it on the tray, the hard drive sits in there like this, and then all the cables go into it, of course, but that's hidden from anybody looking at the window, looking through the window into the PC. Literally, the only things they're going to see is like a motherboard, some cables that go somewhere and disappear, and of course, like the cooler and the video card and all that stuff. But it just makes for a nice, really clean look. So I can get the drive in there proper. There we are. A hard disk, how quaint. Where do you connect the hamster? The hamster's actually right here. This this thing right there. The hamster. So basically, I mean, there's going to be 2 TB hard drive in here for like, just, regular slow data storage, like photos and, like Word documents or whatever, like the stuff that you like, you just want to archive and keep. That doesn't necessarily need to be fast. The little NVMe hard drive SSD that's on the board is intended for like really fast storage for like games, that sort of thing. And there's going to be a 2.5-inch SSD right here, just a 250 gig for operating system applications, that sort of thing. So 3 drives total. It's typically how I like to roll on my personal rigs. How far did we get into the MSQ stream that I missed? Oh, let's see. I did some stuff with the dwarves. Like we went and got the stuff that we needed to make the heart for the Talos, and the dwarves actually gave us more pickaxes for the people there, so they were all getting the stone and everything. And I think that's where we wrapped it up. How about the NFT storage? Don't get me started on NFTs. Whoever invented that shit should take a long walk off a short pier. Just saying. Just chopping some zip ties. There we go. Yeah. I did not do a dungeon last night. So yeah, that might be tonight. Nice fat toads. So I need some zip ties for this because kind of clean this up a bit. Did I already make a mistake? I already made a mistake. It's okay. I already forgot that there was an SSD gonna go right here, so I should probably put that on before I go much further with the wiring stuff. Here we are. That'll work. Yeah. Yeah, that stream is probably gonna be tonight. Actually, it's definitely gonna be tonight. I don't know why I'm bothering with the probably stuff. See, the thing is, what I'm dreading is finishing Final Fantasy. It's been so easy to just think, oh yeah, what's next in Final Fantasy? What's next in Final Fantasy? What's next? When there's a mountain, a veritable mountain of content. But like in the MSQ, I'm pretty close to the end, I think. So it's like, okay, what am I gonna do when this ends? You know, what if I finish it before Endwalker hits? So I've been having to think about that a lot. I hope so, Corrosia, because it's like I keep consuming the content, consume, 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 and it's just like, okay, what happens when the well runs dry? Okay, there we go. Got a nice little Samsung. After MSQ, you have all the raids you haven't done, all the side quest content you haven't done, and the entirety of the adventures with Hildebrand. Yeah. I've heard a lot about Hildebrand. I've also seen a lot too. And it looks pretty hilarious, to be honest. Yeah, there we go. That's more proper wiring stuff right there. See, I just need a tiny zip tie. There we are. Tiny zip tie. It's how you get the Manderville dancer emote. I honestly, for the longest time, I thought in order to get that, you had to buy it at the gold saucer. That's why when I got to the gold saucer for the first time, I was like walking around. I'm like, where do I buy the emote? Where do I buy the emote? It's because it doesn't work like that. I never said I was smart. Ah, okay. I'll definitely do that. I know, like Ryu introduced me to the beginning of that way back in the day when I first started playing Final Fantasy. But I didn't so much want to do a bunch of side quests. I wanted to do like primarily MSQ from like beginning to end, and then do all the side quests. Though I've only completed it up to the beginning of Stormblood. Still have some left to do, which I would do if Bozja would give me my goddamn debug notes already. I will pretend I know what those are. I think I'm gonna tether that right there. Yeah, there we go. Give it a little snippy snip. There we are. Now I gotta see if the case side fits on because it's the look of that kind of bothers me a little bit. So, oh yeah, no sweat. There we go. That's what I like about this chassis, though. It's that everything just pops right off with just minimal effort, but it's still pretty solid on there, so it's not going to fall off of its own accord. It's all just really good. I like it. All right, let's run some SATA cables. So that's for that little boot drive. So the one with the chrome clip on it is going to be for the secondary one, the 2 terabyte. There we go. Black clip is primary. I try to make the cables just look similar, but that I could still tell them apart. So if I have to do any wiring back here at all, I can still figure stuff out. So I think that's pretty much it for that. I'm gonna flip it over here, start getting to the exciting bits. Fan wires I didn't do much with, so I think I'm gonna untwisty these. What's my favorite PC case? Uh, my favorite PC case, sadly, is ones that are no longer being made. So a lot of my PC builds involve Danger Den cases, which they were a kind of a boutique case manufacturer a number of years ago. I think about like 10 or 12 years ago. They were essentially like kind of the pioneers in the commercial water cooling business. They kind of came up with the water block design for CPUs, a lot of stuff for GPUs also later on, and unfortunately, like there wasn't really a falling out in the company. It's just that, one of the folks who the original folks who were running the company had some real life issues with, his I think his wife had passed away or something like that. It was a really tough thing to hear about, first of all, and then later on, I think the decision was made to sell the company, and it ended up falling by the wayside and just like, it got split up, which really sucks. But, I ended up with a number of their cases. Like any time that I would find one online for sale or a friend of mine was upgrading and they wanted to get rid of it, I was like, no, give that to me. Give that to me. So I got quite a collection. And it's like they're all acrylic cases. Like they're basically plastic. They're all clear and usually have like a colored theme or something like that. But there's no two are exactly alike. Like these cases were made and ordered in such a way that you could customize them, and each one was unique. So I've got, yeah, lots of different ones. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, it's a it's I don't know what it is about them, but I that's what I built in personally. Just because it's like, I mean, I love cases like this. Like these are great. I mean, they're very easy to build in. They're very functional. I love this stuff. The thing is though, the danger den cases when you're building them, there's no cute little cubbies or little hideaway places that you can stuff the extra cables, right? They're very challenging to build and have like look clean. You have to do lots of custom work with them, and each one is always a project. So that's what I love the fiddly, complicated nature of them because they're not. I mean, when you look at them, they look pretty simple, but that's the problem is that there's nowhere to hide anything. I kind of liked my previous. I kind of liked my previous PC's case. It was cheap, but the front had a tendency to rattle at certain fan speeds, and it was censored to carry to the attic when I got my new PC, which is also very heavy. Bradbury, Bradbury, thank you so much for the resub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, that stuff that goes a long way to like not only helping me out, but it helps the stream. So like I don't know if like a lot of you know this, but like I set aside like any of the cash I get, any of the cash or the tips or any of that stuff, I set aside and I dedicate that towards. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Bradbury. Thank you. Like all of that stuff, like I set aside and I do my best to, find out what would improve the stream, whether it's like, commissioning emotes or anything hardware wise. I put that money back into the stream. And then also what I use a portion of that too is subbing to other channels, you know, tips and that sort of thing. So I do my best to cycle all of that money back into the community and spread it around like to the other good beans that, at least I follow or that a lot of us follow at the same time. Cerberius of the Brad. Plus one good PC cases are very rare these days, and for the last couple of years, yeah. Also, apologies. I thought I was following you all this time. Oh, you know what, Brad? It's honestly, it's no worries. I mean, whether you're following or not, I mean, it's really cool of you to be here. I appreciate it either way. It's because you're an absolute fresh bean. Aw, thank you. But Yami, to further answer your question, my taste in my favorite case is kind of is kind of weird. But if that wasn't the case, if Danger Den had never been around and never existed, probably my favorite cases would be these fractal design cases. Their whole series of chassis are just really well thought out, and I mean, looking at it, it looks like it would be pretty awesome to actually mod it or paint it. Like, this is kind of a blank canvas. There's so much you could do with this, like lights, fans, like whatever you wanted to do. If you wanted to put a three-way radiator up at the top, with some hardline tubing going all throughout that. You mean you could do that, and it's a relatively small chassis. You could take it around to LAN parties and stuff like that. Yeah, these are great. Fractal Design are fantastic. But I would probably steer clear of their super cheap ones. Those are pretty flimsy. But yeah, I mean, a define anything from Fractal Design is pretty well built and pretty solid and thought out. All right, now let me get some of this stuff out of the way. So I gotta put that motherboard in. Okay, yeah, there we go. That'll work. So first and foremost, before anybody puts any sort of motherboard in a chassis, get this first. Have this in your hand. The second you think about putting a motherboard in, you gotta put this in. It's the IO shield. This is required. I've seen too many people build their PC, get it all put together and everything, screws and all, and forget to put this in. Because you cannot get this in if the motherboard is in the chassis. Please don't forget this. So, it's right back here. If I could get it in correctly. These can be kind of tricky. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, they're really interesting. Those cases are just they're literally all screwed together. There's no rivets or anything like that. They're all like acrylic laser cut pieces that go together in a very specific way. And I love them. I love the look of those. Actually, I think did I Oh, my phone is reminding me to back up, which I'm obviously not going to do that right now. Let me see if I can find the picture. I posted a picture of what I brought to PDX LAN, but I didn't post that in my own Discord, sadly. Let's see. Where did I post that? Haha, there it is. Pop that in the chat. There we go. So that's what I brought to PDX LAN. That is actually the very first Danger Den case I ever got. I did all the water cooling and stuff like that too. You can't really see it that great, but that's right in the middle of Saturday when I was modding for Paula. I was doing that right at the LAN. But yeah, there's not too many of them around anymore, those cases. All right. Let's see if this fits, which it should. I have faith. So, everything out of the way. Yes. There we go. Oh, pets. Why didn't my pet work? Oh no, it did. And again, this is going to be a temporary heatsink. This is my tester one, hence the smiley face on it. Aw, that means a lot of Yami. I worked hard on that one. It's seen many different motherboards and video cards and CPUs over the years. But I try to keep that around because it's quite a bit of nostalgia. Let's get some motherboard screws going on. So one of the very important things too, you should always pay attention to. This case had them pre-installed, but they're standoffs. They're like little things. I don't know if I can get this close enough to the camera and have it focus. It's these little posts. So you got to be really careful with these because if you have one of them screwed into the many screw holes on the back of the motherboard tray, if you have one in the wrong spot, it'll make contact with the motherboard and could either damage it or make it not work anymore. So be very careful with those. Make sure when you're putting posts in that they all correspond with holes in the motherboard, or if they came pre-installed. Hi, Paula. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to see you. But yeah, or if the chassis came pre-installed with these, you're definitely going to want to make sure that those at least correspond with the holes on the motherboard. Kind of makes me want to learn how to make stuff like that so I can make my own or even repair them. I mean, Ayami, you could totally do it. You could totally do it. I mean, it looks super intimidating, but it's you gotta try. And then like once you've done like two or three, or like basically you put together a computer and then you take it apart and then you put it back together again. If you just do that a few times, you'll get the hang of it. Yes, long story short, check your holes. Absolutely. Do lots and lots of hole checking and butt checks. Rookie numbers. I'm only 17% butts today. Yay, Yami still has a butt. That willow emote. I love that willow emote. That's the cutest blep I have ever seen. May I shout out some beans from chat? You absolutely should. Please do. Oh, yes, actually, you know what? Speaking of Paula, Paula has the season finale of Vruminium today. I saw the tweet. I think it starts at noon. Paula can correct me if I'm wrong. And I don't know the details on exactly what it's going to be. I want to say it's going to be an 100% race like it was the last time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the location or anything, but y'all should definitely make that stream if you can. Yes, and Corrosia too. Corrosia is a good bean. And I believe Corrosia is actually streaming tonight. Or this afternoon, I think. This afternoon for me, maybe tonight for some of you. 5 p.m. Central. All right. All of our screws are in. Now it's time to wire a little bit. Sorry, my big fat head is getting in the way. So power switch is the red one. So what a lot of people don't realize is that the switch wires on PC cases are not, they don't have a polarity. You can pop them in backwards or like the right way. As long as the two conductors are making contact with these pins, that switch will work. The lights, however, do have a positive and a negative, so they're typically going to have those listed on the wires, and then on the board it's going to tell you which ones are which. So let's see, this is power LEDs, so I need plus and minus this way. Oop, and I missed a pin. Here we go. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky to get these things on, so just take your time. Ahty wears glasses. Yeah, sadly. I wish I didn't sometimes, but especially when I'm wearing a mask. When I'm wearing a mask, I hate glasses like you wouldn't believe. There we go. Perfect. Hey, Sky, how you doing? Yami, could you give Sky a shout out also? Attack Rack? Oh, excellent. Yeah, you were on top of it. I probably should have known. You came at a good time, Sky, because like we're right in the thick of it as far as wiring right now, trying to make it not be a mess. Go back in your hole. It's your home. Come on. Another frustration sometimes with case manufacturers, they make these wires too damn long. But the second that they shorten them up, they're going to be too short, right? So, okay, there we go. That is the front panel audio. I'm just going to flip that real quick. What am I doing here? There we go. That's better. For some reason, that wouldn't go back there. I don't know why. There we go. We got USB that I got to do still. What we building? Also, hi, Paula. I am building a PC for my sister. She expressed interest in doing a little gaming and maybe a little streaming because I can't shut up about streaming. So I figured I would surprise her with a PC. You know, not the newest thing in the world, but, you know, something that'll kind of get her started, you know? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But, you know, what kind of brother would I be if I didn't at least try to support my sister in some way, you know? I have all this stuff hanging around. Does her more good as a computer than just collecting dust in a box for me. So, got that stuff done. Almost ready for video card. I just don't like how some of these wires are sitting, so I'm gonna poke around with that a little bit. Take up some slack. What the dog doing? I don't know why I just thought of that just now. I think Sky has corrupted me in some way. Get some of these cables poked out of the way here so they don't mess up the interior where everybody can see them. Non-binary sibling. The few times I poked inside a PC myself, I always worried about using too much force in connectors, and in general. I just hate poking around the inside of a PC. Yeah, it does. But the thing is, though, what a lot of people don't realize is that PC parts actually have, you know, certain PC parts anyway, have a certain measure of resilience to physical stuff. You know, true, like using too much physical force is generally not going to be a good thing, but as long as you put something firm, like plug something firmly into its into a connector and feel like some sort of like positive click, generally that's like the exact amount of force you should have been using at the time. I know that sounds pretty vague, but it's because it varies from connector to connector and even manufacturer to manufacturer. Some manufacturers use really cheap connectors. Some use, you know, robust, meet the spec type things. But I guess like, you know, I guess the big takeaway is take your time, you know. Don't rush anything, because if you're in a rush, that's when you break stuff or forget things and stuff like that. And with PC stuff, generally you shouldn't be rushing at all. So I'm just moving some things around here because like the wires I think look a little better when they're coming out a different one of these grommets. Get that USB 3 plugged in there. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. But I think I got to route a little bit more back here because this became ugly. Oops. Yeah, come here. Get out of there. Sometimes on these things, these channels aren't good enough either. Let's see. There we go. Just making sure all these are tied out of the way. go. And also, thank y'all for being patient with my CRT webcam oscillations there. Still trying to figure out what the heck went on there. I thought I figured it out before when I had my older webcam, that it turned out to be the white surface of my workbench was reflecting the LED work light. It was reflecting that back up into the camera lens and causing that oscillation. But this time it's different because I tried the same remedy with this camera because it's a different one, and yeah, I can't fix it. So I think with this camera, I think it might be more sensitive to dirty power. So, yeah, there we go. That looks good. I would claim it's intentional. It's an aesthetic. I would, but I will admit I am a little OCD with stuff like that, and I just it kind of drives me nuts. My computer inside is a mess. I think, most like the thing is like if you're not really showing it to anybody, if you're not showing it to anybody, it's fine. It's totally fine as long as it functions and does everything like it should. It's fine. See, right now my PC is driving me crazy because I had to wire it slightly wrong in order for it to function. But when I look at it, because the side is clear, it's just like, oh my God, I want to fix that right now, but I can't. You would scream if you saw it. Sky, what I would do, if I saw the inside of your PC, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna fly out in a week. I'm gonna get a hotel. I'm gonna get a hotel, and like we can meet up at a Starbucks. I'll bring my scissors and my zip ties, and I would rewire the whole thing, much to the chagrin of any of the baristas on that day. I'd be like, I'll spend all of this money to come out and fix that wiring job. Is that one of your new emotes? Ah, I love it. That's so cute. Oh no, I wouldn't invite myself over like that. But I've helped friends wiring their PCs from time to time. Like Jaster, who sometimes you might see them in the stream every now and then. Jaster had me over and wanted to take advantage of my OCD with wiring, and he fed me. I got free food out of the deal, and in turn, I rewired his PC. That actually worked out pretty well. Plus, it's fun hanging out with Jaster anyway. Jaster's a good bean. Ahty, just get a PC repair van that you can drive over to people. No need to. Yeah, well, I mean the Starbucks that I think Sky got it. The Starbucks thing is more like being, you know, kind of neutral, I guess. Like in a neutral public setting that, Sky hasn't met me before. So I had to change Danny's GPU the other day, and it was so frustrating. I hate tech stuff. Ah. But the thing is, though, the more you do it, Sky, the less. Well, I mean, I get where the dislike or the hate comes from. But like, is it more that it's just too complex and fiddly, or is it more like, oh my God, I'm gonna break something type thing? I mean, that's a dangerous suggestion. Then he'll get Valkyries and Chocobos airbrushed on it, start blasting prog rock, and actually, yeah, do. Honestly, like I wanted to do, I still have plans to do this, but what I wanted to do is actually just get like a square PC case from like the 90s, like an old Gateway 2000, and I wanted to paint it all black, and then you remember those vans from back in the 80s that people had, those like generic Chevy vans? Like people call them free candy vans, but it's not. It's like they have a van, right? And they would like paint it black and they would have this super intricate like wizard like on like the on the back of a dragon casting a spell. That it would be airbrushed all across the side of this van. And then they would cut a hole in the side of the van and put a little bubble window there. I love that aesthetic. So I kind of wanted to apply that to a retro PC. But then on the inside of the PC was all modern like gaming gear and stuff like that. That would just be I thought that it would just be super interesting. But maybe I'm just being dumb. But a Nutrigram, who doesn't want to get their PC rewired in a van that says free candy on it? Oh my God. I was fussing around in there, tried to give him one of my old i7s, but found the case wouldn't fit it, but didn't have the tool to change the. Yeah. It's just something always seemed to go wrong for me. Yeah. I mean, that's a mood. Sometimes I have projects that literally, like, whatever I try to do, everything goes wrong. And that's what it felt like just before I went live this morning. Like, first my webcam didn't work. And then once I got it working, my audio didn't work. It's like, what the hell? And I barely got it together by the time I had to go live. That's why, like, when anybody does like a redeem, it sounds like it's playing through a telephone because it's just I don't know. I feel that, Sky. I definitely do. Out of your epic would 100% own a case like that. Oh, it's Ayami. That image of a case like that, it lives in my head rent free, and it has for years. That's why I have no interest in dying as a farmer. Every time I plant, swath, bale, haul, anything, something breaks. Too much anxiety having to worry about a million moving parts and the giant machines. Yes. Yeah. And PC stuff is really no different. It's just like I enjoy techie fiddly things. I love this stuff and it's been a hobby of mine for years, but I definitely get why some people just can't stand to do this stuff. I definitely get it. Let's see, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting a chassis fan. I think it's here. So I'm just gonna poke it through there and hope I got that right. Some video card cable action going on here. There we go. So in a little bit, I'm going to have quite a story for y'all once I finish with all this. It's actually not long now. I'm not gonna go ahead and install Windows on stream. I'm gonna do that later because that's a separate frustration. But, the build at least will be done. Actually, would actually be a good opportunity to show y'all the top that this came with. So this case, I talked about it earlier. This case came with two tops. It's really interesting. I've never seen a case quite like this before. Let's see. So originally it came with this one. It came with this one installed, right? It's nice and solid up top, and then when you flip it over, it's got this cool sound deadening material on the inside. It came with that, but you can pull that off, and you can put this on. Like if you had a radiator up top, it came with this, which just looks so heckin' cool. So you put a radiator up top here on the inside, and this is where it gets all its air. I love it. It looks so good. And like none of these panels screw on. They use these kind of ball clips, which is really cool too. And there's just enough of a channel around the inside here that you could do some lighting, and that would just look awesome up there. Just have a light strip all around the edges here, and all the lights coming this way. Oh man, that would look awesome. Oh, it looks so cool. Which I do have some extra RGB lighting. I could probably do that. Oh, good, I did get that exactly right. Awesome. So that little guy goes there. Perfect. Let me catch up with chat real quick. Honestly, I immediately think Dungeons and Dragons van, but as a case. Yes, Ayami, that is spot on. It's also why I refuse to ride a roller coaster whose tracks are made of wood. Just takes one bug somewhere chewing just enough fibers to make the whole thing crash. That's the thing. They use, I forget what, I think it's tar. They infuse and pressure treat the wood with tar. So it literally takes decades upon decades upon decades for it to rot. And I don't think bugs have any interest in it because at that point you basically just have poison, which is not really a good thing, least of all for bugs. But I think that's the point of that. The railroad ties and wood are kind of made that way. Yeah, but I think lately they've been making a lot of that stuff with concrete instead because I think it's better for the environment. I used to not mind or even like fiddling around inside PCs when I was younger. PCs were a bit simpler too, without GPUs and CPU coolers taking up 90% of the space. Except those dreaded ATA cables. Yep, I remember those big old ribbons. I got way more insecure about it later. I guess part of my depression or so. Yeah, that's valid though. Still not gonna ride one. I'll take a cold hard steel one that a particularly vengeful bug can't devote their life to sabotaging. Yeah, that's true. Okay. I think I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel here. Just have to adjust this real quick. Since the video card only has one PCI Express power connector on it, I don't need two, so I'm gonna try and stealthily figure out how to hide this second connector. Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay, I'll put the final zip tie on there once the video card is in. Yeah, that's still good. Okay, I'm just gonna tuck this behind here. There we go. I'm getting all kinds of notifications that people are going live and stuff. There we go. I think it's video card time. So let's do this. Get this one out of the way. That one too, because it's a double wide card. Okay, so here's the thing too. If you take any of these out of your PC case, put them somewhere safe. Because someday you'll need these again. So you just gather them up, put them in a safe spot, don't throw them away. All right, video card. So for this one, I was actually able to find a GTX 1070. And it blew my mind that I could even get such a thing. Sorry for the crinkling here. Hey! I know who that is. I know who Ninetail Watt is. That is a Luskwood friend. Though I think when space aliens invade Earth, they wouldn't go just for our roller coasters. Yeah, that's true. Oop, pets. Get that out of the way. There we go. The store I ordered my pre-assembled PCs at these days included every part they didn't use. Yep. And every self-respecting PC shop that's putting together PCs, they absolutely should do that. Because you never know. I mean, you might put something back in that they took out. Who knows? So, oof. I can't tell you the last time I saw a literally brand new GTX 1070. God, that's a pretty card. Okay, make sure I'm lined up. There we go. Oof, that looks so good. I love it. Look at how clean that is. Ah, it's so nice. Let me put a magnet on. There we go. And now that I'm just kind of finishing this up, yeah, I'm gonna have to put lights in this. I'm gonna have to do a light strip. Yep, this is a GTX 1070 Founders Edition. So these are the NVIDIA reference design cards. Yeah, this 1070, only one. Oh, perfect. I think that. Oh, this is gonna go together so good. Oh, I love it. Love it. Look at that. Look at that. The only thing that's bugging me is that white fan wire down here. Why did they have to make it white? Everything else is black. I definitely trust you. That okay. I see a white wire and I want it painted black. Ooh, that looks so good. Oh, I'm very happy with how that went together. Very happy indeed. And it's actually not that heavy either. Yeah, so we've got a 2 terabyte drive for data. We've got a 250 gig back here to boot from. We've got a 500 gig on the board for games and stuff. That'll be great. Put the back on here. Oh, I think my wiring is too beefy back here. I might need to rewire it back. Nope. Okay, there we go. That works. Put the top on. And then the side, which is tempered glass. A lot of these chassis now, if they're going to have a window, it's going to be glass. And it looks hazy because there's still plastic on it. But once you peel the plastic off the front and the back, that'll be crystal clear. It'll be super nice. Yeah, there we go. Ah, that's awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, true. It might be better for that. But the thing is, I really didn't have a lot of SSDs just hanging around. And I thought that like having a higher capacity SSD for games would be better, especially with a lot of the modern games that are out now. Like a lot of them are just hundreds of gigs, and so I have a 250 gig SATA to boot from, and then the 500 gig. But my sister could always just reinstall Windows, I guess, and pull the 250 out if she really wanted to boot from the 500. You're a good bean. I'm not worried about you knowing where I live. If I needed PC help, I'd just be like, I need PC help. I want food. Yep. It's pretty much all it would take. It's like, food? Mine has glass on both sides. The side I actually see when using my PC is just a few black metal plates, yeah. I see your PC building skills. Teach me more, please. So, I would gladly do that. I'd have to figure out how exactly that would work. Let's see here. Now, just to remind you all that yes, that heatsink is temporary. The heatsink that I have planned for this is a Be Quiet Dark Rock TF4. So it's a rather large heatsink, but it goes on there, and then there's a back plate that affixes to the back. So um, when this case is being transported and stuff, it's not gonna have a propensity to fall off, not like a lot of these CPU coolers do that use the clips. Yeah. So load times, I think in this case, I mean either way, it's going to be pretty fast. Um, NVMe obviously would be faster, but I think that in comparison to what my sister has now, it's going to be lightning quick, no matter which one, you know. So computers with a glass side and a be quiet cooler are annoying when they are facing you. The big logo keeps telling you to be quiet. Yep, you're not wrong. Okay, let's see. I need some wake up juice. All right. Oh, that's pretty funny. With the side on, you can actually see my work light and the reflection. That's neat. Anyway, Ayami, are you listening? I think you were just here. I'm just kind of I've got a I wanted your opinion on something. So, how do you think I did on your new PC? Is there anything that you'd want me to change? Like I could add some lights and stuff if that I can add some lights and stuff if you'd want that. Yeah, your new PC. Like I see that Diva Panda emote and well, you shouldn't be. I just built you a PC. So, Yami, like we haven't really known each other for very long, and I don't know. I think you've had just I don't know how to respond. Okay, that's fine. So we haven't known each other for very long, and you've actually had a pretty large, significant positive impact. Like you've helped me with like my mental health, as well as my as keeping me hydrated and stream. And you've helped out a lot. And I frequent lots of different streams. A lot of the times I lurk, but I don't say anything. But like I see you around and I see how you interact with people and stuff. And you give a lot to other folks without any expectation in return. And I know stuff is just not great for you right now. So for the past couple months I'm not going to be specific with that. But I know for the past couple of months I've really been searching for like a thing that I could do for you. Something that's above and beyond like just buying you a thing or, getting you a gift sub or something like that. I wanted to do something more than that. So I'm really sorry that I was a bit disingenuous with this. When I said it was for my sister, it was kind of true, you know, uh, just not for my biological sister. Hi, Lucas, welcome. So, yeah, so there you have it. So, I mean, what I felt like you needed was just a tiny boost, you know? Thank you, Corrosion. I don't know how to respond to that. But like, I don't know. Like, Yami, I think that you just everybody in their everybody in their life just sometimes just gets to the point where they just need the tiniest of boosts. And I know this isn't exactly a tiny boost, but I definitely I want to see you grow as a streamer, you know? So I want to like I got this thing in my head like a month ago. I was like, I got this thing in my head that I wanted to build you a PC that that could stream. I mean, like I said before in the stream, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it'll get you started, you know? And I know you're already streaming right now, but you don't have to stream on a console anymore. See, with this, you'd be able to install OBS. You'd be able to stream from this PC and game on it at the same time. You know, you can do anything that Paula does. You can do anything that I do. You know, like you can design your own overlay and use it. You can do all of the stuff. Yeah, there's that too. Ayami, you modding for me and being the bean that you are is thank you enough. That is enough for me. I just hope this is enough of a thank you for that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. You know, I probably should have done this privately, I guess, but I kind of wanted to also I kind of wanted to do something public that, you know, that everybody should know who you are and like how good you are and how much work you put into stuff and how much you do for other people and how much you've done for me. So, yeah, I understand. I understand the feeling, Ayami. I mean, you're awesome. What can I say? But the thing is, though, it's not just this. That's the thing. So, as a lot of you know, I went to a LAN party this weekend. Well, this past weekend, and I won a few things. So let me get into that too. So they had a little opening ceremony on Thursday night last week that that basically, you know, since it was the first PDX LAN since the pandemic started, there was an opening ceremony and kind of like a PSA, like, you know, kind of going over the rules on like how to, like when you're attending the LAN, like as far as social distancing, mask usage, you know, when you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands and like, you know, throwing trash away properly and stuff like that. I mean, it was like basically Sesame Street for LAN goers because you know sometimes it's pretty sad that people have to that you have to actually go through and uh, tell people what to do or tell people how they should be doing things. You're just trying to keep people safe, right? So, well, anyway, they had like a little like an opening ceremony, and at the end there was like basically a quiz to make sure all of that information sunk in. So, and for right answers, they were giving away prizes. So I was selected out of the crowd, and I answered all the questions correctly on how to properly flush the toilet and wash your hands. So in return, I won a few things, one of them being a mechanical keyboard. So what I thought was super convenient is that it was white. And by the time the LAN happened, I already had the case in my possession. Like I had already picked it up that day. I thought it was super convenient that I got a white keyboard. So I was like, I can't keep that. I gotta send that with the computer because it matches. So you're gonna get an RGB mechanical keyboard also. And then in the raffle at the end on Sunday night, I won. I mean, it's basic, but I won a gaming mouse, a little RGB gaming mouse. So I'm gonna send that too. Now, mind you, these are all things I got for free. You know, things that I probably wouldn't use personally. So you get this, you get that stuff too. And let's see, what am I forgetting here? What am I forgetting? Oh, right. Okay, so there's a little bit left of this too. So I mean, as far as like the stuff, this is it. But like most of the parts in this build that there's kind of a story behind them. So first of all would be CPU actually. So this is a 6700K that's in here. This I'm actually keeping because a friend of mine who I was sitting next to at the LAN heard through the grapevine what I was doing. Like I told like a couple of people and I admonished people to keep it secret. But you know, I mean, nobody can keep a secret nowadays. So they heard that I was doing this, and they just happened to have, I mean, it's used. They just happened to have a 7700K, which it's like a tiny step up. But you know, a 6700K is 4 cores, 8 threads, 4 gigahertz. A 7700K is 4 core, 8 thread, and it is 4.2 gigahertz. So it's like a little bit higher performance. So he's just like, since he thought it was like super cool, like what I was doing. So he's like, you can have this CPU. Um, you know, the reason why this isn't in here now is because I'm not sure if the board actually has the correct BIOS on it to support this. So I have to flash the BIOS first, and then I'll put this in. Which, I mean, it works out anyway because I've got the heatsink coming on Monday. So I can just do everything at the same time. So that works out. So it's going to be a 7700K. The memory I put in, it's 32 gig of DDR4, DDR4 2400, I think, which is fine for the CPU. More than enough memory for you to be able to stream. Let's see, what else has a story in here? What else? Okay. You are so sweet. Like I want to hug you. Well, mate, I'm sure someday, someday. I'm sure we'll end up at like a con together or something, or heck, like TwitchCon. Like I want to go to TwitchCon sometime, so maybe that'll happen. But video card is the big one. So long story with that. Well, not really long, but okay. So when I decided that I was going to do this build, I had all of the pieces. I had all the pieces. I had the chassis, I had the motherboard, CPU, everything. I even had all of the SSDs and everything. But I lacked one thing, and that was the video card. And the thing is, though, I knew I was going to have to pay for a video card. If I was going to make all of this work, it needed a video card because you really can't stream games without a video card. So I put my little feelers out, my little ringtail feelers, right? And I made a post on the PDXLAN Discord and Facebook about I needed a 1060 6 gig or higher. I just popped it out there. I just wanted to know what people had and how much it would cost. Just so I could gauge, you know, how much all of this was going to be. So I popped that out, and I shit you not, less than 5 minutes later, a good friend of mine PMs me on Facebook. He's like, I have a GTX 1070 I won at PDX LAN 2 years ago that's just been sitting on a shelf. I was like, would that be good enough for the build? And I was like, hell yeah, it would. But in my mind, I was like, a 1070 is more than I was expecting, but like, how much is this going to be? So I was like, I need to know. So I asked him how much it was going to be. Like, how much did he want for that card? And he pinged me back. He's like, free. He's like, what I think you're doing is awesome, and it's totally free. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And I just refused to believe it. Like a card that he could literally sell right now, he would just give to me for free to do a build for one of my friends, for a person he doesn't even know. And it blew me away. But lo and behold, I went to the land because he goes to the land too, and he was like, "Here's your card." And it still blows me away. It's just the kindness and the generosity of this person. And he pinged me so fast, he didn't even have to think about it. He didn't even have to think about it. He's just like, you can have this card for free. So, I mean, I just don't know how to repay that generosity. But, again, they wanted to remain anonymous, though, and I'm going to respect that wish. And they're also going to get a copy of this VOD for the build. But I just wanted to say, like, live on Twitch, that I know who you are. I've known you for years, and the kindness that you showed a person that you don't know, um, just you're just an incredible person, and thank you for helping out not only me, but a dear friend of mine. Thank you so much. Man, really making me feel bad that I pay my mods in feet picks and carnival peanuts. Oh, you don't, Corrosia, but like I know you're kidding with that, but like with this, it's like there are people in my life that just have really positive impacts, and they do stuff for others selflessly and without any thought of getting repaid in any sort of way. And I'm not going to be specific, but there are this is not the first time that I have given something away to somebody that could use it. I can't begin to word my thoughts. I'm sorry. I just hope you like it. And I hope this helps you out, you know? No need to be sorry. I'm just genuinely surprised and honored and just broken. I want you to do this Twitch thing, and I want you to knock it out of the park like I know you can. I'm getting all sniffly. Oof. Sorry for being quiet. To break the sniffles. No, it's just amazing because like I'm just kind of stopping to think like who all like kind of contributed to this on how like this whole pets on who all like just yeah who just contributed and how like the predominantly the discussion around our table at the LAN was the rumor got out of what I was doing and people just came forward and wanted to help out. Like y'all are familiar with Be Quiet, right? Not the term Be Quiet, but the company Be Quiet. Like they make fans and heat sinks and lots of different stuff. So a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, who works there, was looking for me on Friday night. Was looking for me because he heard about this. So he was looking for me on Friday night, and he made the offer that he wanted to know what I needed for this build. And I thought long and hard about it, and I needed a heat. I At the time I needed a heat sink and I needed fans. I wanted to do more than just one front fan, which of course, like I kind of changed my mind later, but I think I might still do it. But he wanted me to ping him on Facebook to figure out what I needed and that he would do his best to ship it out. So I still need to let him know, but I think I'm going to talk to him about the fan stuff. But just the fact that he stepped forward is a pretty significant thing too. In that, he's a really good soul as well. And this is why I like PDX Land so much, is that when people hear about some stuff going on like this, it kind of spreads around. And then people come forward and they want to help, they want to contribute. And it really blows me away, and it really makes me realize that I am part of the right community. You wouldn't synonymize a LAN party with stuff like this. You'd normally think that, oh yeah, it's a bunch of gamers getting together and then they yell racial slurs and play Counter Strike all day, but it's not like that at all. If it was, I wouldn't be a part of it. But like there's so much goodwill that goes around that community, and I try to help perpetuate that. You know. A bunch of nerds with their energy drinks. Well, you're not wrong. We were sponsored by Monster that weekend too, and Monster sent 2 pallets of Monster drinks and a representative with a little table they set up in the corner. And whenever you wanted an energy drink, you just went to the counter and picked one. Adi, I'm blown away. Like I never expected this. Well, I mean, I guess I kept it a proper enough secret then. Oh, and actually, Mr. Fox, welcome. Yeah, I mean, like Mr. Fox, it's going amazing. We just got finished building a Yami her surprise computer. Well, it's sort of finished. I still need to put the proper heat sink on, and I'm gonna add some lighting too. See if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Here's my lighting. So, I know it's in a suspicious brown bag here. I don't know if you can see it on cam. Good, you can't. So, I've got quite a bit of this left over from a previous build, but these are RGB 5050. This is a light strip. And what you can do with these is you can chop them every 2 inches or so. Every time that there's a little junction right here, you can cut them. And then they're all pre-wired. So this, I think I'm going to do a little light strip along the front here and probably along the top. Make it kind of, light up, things like that. That's actually, I mean, the lights are pretty bright, but like what you can do is I have controllers for these two. Yeah, here it is. So I know there's an Amazon sticker on it. Chill out. There's a little IR sensor in here. So you can turn the lights on and off. So basically when Ayami goes to bed, she can turn off all of the lights with a little remote control. So I got to figure out where to put the little IR transmitter and receiver, which is this little guy. But yeah, I've got enough nooks and crannies in here I can hide all that stuff. But Ayami, you'll be able to turn the lights on and off with a little remote controller here, which will be pretty cool. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. The real surprise is that the SSD is full of Ahty GIFs. No, no, no. It can be, but no, it's not. I use my RGB as a nightlight when my system is on. Yeah, there you go. Ahty NFTs, no. No. I wish I had a spray bottle emote. No. Spritz, spritz, spritz. Let's see, what else? You know what? I don't think there's really much else, but yeah, I mean, the planning of this stuff the planning of this stuff was just, oh man, it was a ride. It was a ride. Even going so far as like, thank God I have kind of a longish ride home from work because I needed all the practice in the world to figure out what I was gonna say and how all of that was gonna play out. Like I was legit talking to myself every ride to and from work, trying to figure out what my delivery on stream would be. I'm trying to word my thoughts. I'm beyond honored, grateful, and thankful. Ayami, you're worth it. Little did I know, like, I think it was like 3, 4, 5 months ago or something like that. Little did I know when we were both in Diva's stream, like when I said that you were valid, little did I know at that moment that you would be a mod for me, that you would do all the work that you do, and just be one of the goodest beings that I know. I'm really thankful that you've been around all this time. You've been a terrific friend, and I just wanted to do something really special for you. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just still blown away. So blown away by like the generosity of this person who gave me this video card. You got me, honestly. So I apologize in advance, but you're gonna have to, Ayami, you're gonna have to buy Fallout 4 all over again. Because I don't know if you're gonna be able to bring it from console to PC. But this thing will play Fallout like you wouldn't believe. It'll be really good. Oh, and guess what you can do now? Guess what you can do now? You can play Final Fantasy. You could sub to Final Fantasy if you wanted to. Corrosia, I just checked my my DMs and yeah, we should do that. We should definitely do that. Sorry to be cryptic, but yeah, it has to be cryptic for right now. Unless Corrosia, unless you want me to well, I could talk to about that right now, or if you Corrosia, if you wanna bring that up, you're more than welcome to. I do have a small request. Okay, what's the request? I will do my best. Oh, by the way, it'll come pre-installed with Windows. I'll take care of all that. It'll be when you get it, um, it will be turnkey. All you'll have to do is plug it in and turn it on. Can I add something small to show who it's from? I mean, I could like what were you thinking? I could write on it. I mean, I have a Sharpie. I could like sign it or something like that. But where could I do something like that? Okay. Well, I mean, okay. So Corrosia DM'd me, and I'll read the DM. I'll read the DM in the stream here. So Corrosia, I mean, I really there are no words for that in response to that offer. That's pretty amazing. So Corrosia said, FYI, if Ayami wants to be able to stream console games via the PC, I've got my old Elgato device around here I could send you to give to them. That would be pretty amazing too. So basically, you could stream twofold. You could stream PC games, like as you get them and stuff like that, and you could stream console stuff at the same time. You can kind of go back and forth. That is definitely a possibility. So, Corrosia, do you know which Elgato that is? Is that literally a card, or is it like a USB device? HD. So wow, wow. That's the capture card I want. That's fine. HD60S, that is an exceptional capture card. Exceptional. It'll do, I believe it, I don't think it does 4K. The 4K one is big money. But the that one will do 1080p 60, which is plenty good for Twitch. Plenty good. Perfect. Yeah, that'll work out great. Yep. Yeah, I've been looking at those hard. I really want one of those. Because eventually I want to get like a Switch and I want to be able to stream like GameCube games and things like that. Because I have a GameCube, I have a Super Nintendo, I have a PS1. I would love to do that stuff too. Eventually though. But yeah, an HD 60S. Wow. That would be awesome for this. Holy crap. Cool. Yeah, no, no worries, Yami. If you want, just DM me if you're comfortable with it. DM me the address. So it might take a little while for me to ship this because I have to figure out how I'm going to ship this and make sure it gets to you safely because it does have a glass side, so I'm going to have to protect that somehow. Which I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring on Monday. I'm going to bring the PC to work, and I'm going to talk to our shipping guy who is literally a pro at shipping stuff. I mean, this is what this dude does: ship stuff. And I'm going to ask him what he thinks and what we have for materials that we can use to protect it to make sure. You may have to remind me and give me a little time. I know it's in my room somewhere here, but not sure where. Okay, that's fine. I will definitely poke you about that. I was cheering for your sister and you. No, you'd be so hard. I was just trying to figure out how to pull it off. I was like, how do I do this without it being super obvious? How do I I just man. I hate this because like it feels like I lied. And I did kind of. But not really. But it was it was disingenuous and I apologize for that part of it. But unfortunately it was necessary to throw your nose off the scent. And that's why, and I really apologize for the last 2 weeks too, Iyami, because when we were talking about like, you asking me PC questions and wanting me to look through my stuff to see if there's anything that, I had that you could buy and that there was no guarantee that you could buy it, I had to read all of that stuff and just grit my teeth. I'm just like, you just, because I didn't want to blow you off and I didn't want to like, string you along like I did. I apologize for my part in that because I guess it felt like I was being uh, uh, not dismissive, but like there's some weird words for that. But like I just yeah, and it might need an adapter. I think it came with a USB-C connector. So if this is regular USB, you might have to get a USB-C to USB cable. Those I have. Those are easy. Yeah, I've got, a bunch of different devices that I no longer use that, came with stuff like that. So I got that. Um, Ayami, you said you had a TV. Do you have a computer monitor? Or is it just the TV that you have? Just have a TV. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to also include some HDMI cables. I'm assuming your TV does HDMI because you have like a PS4 and stuff like that, but I'll include some HDMI cables you can use. And I'll include a couple of extras because I'm pretty sure with the Elgato there are some ins and outs. So I'll have some extras in there. Trying to think what else. power cable, of course. It'll have Windows. You'll have a keyboard and a mouse to use. Uh, I'm looking at my workbench for anything that could jog my memory on what you might need. I'm sure that'll all come to me. I'm also going to include a USB 3 thumb drive that I ended up not using, so you'll be able to move stuff from your laptop to the new computer. Yeah, Elgato needs one to go from console to card and one to go from card to TV monitor. Okay, yeah. No worries. No worries, Ayami. So basically, all of this, you're not going to have to spend a dime, okay? Not a single penny, because like, sure, I mean, there's the PC, but I'm going to pay to ship it to you. I'll take care of all of that stuff. So literally, all you're going to have to do is open the door and sign the little thing, and there you go. I remember when I used my TV as a monitor. Oh Lord, how pixelated that was, but that was when LCD was first introduced. Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be like a little bit of that because TVs are meant to, do all sorts of scaling and make video look really good, but typically they aren't super great for gaming. But I mean, my TV is like 12 years old, and if I plug a PC into it, it doesn't look quite right. Like some of the colors just like are just a tiny bit off, but it's actually not that bad. I'll have to reveal some personal information to sign for it, but I trust you. Okay. I mean, just share with me what you're comfortable with. I mean, I don't need your social security number or any of that stuff, but at the bare minimum, I will need like, yeah, like an actual name and like an address and phone number, just in case there's a problem with the shipment. It's so UPS can call you. I won't do that. Let's see what else. I don't think there's really much else to this. We're going on 11:30. Yeah, I think we're still good. We're good. I think I'm just gonna go. I think I'm gonna go like a little bit longer. But let's see. Take a look at some of this stuff. Trying to think if there's anything else, but I've got plenty of time to figure all that stuff out. Okay, good. So I should be able to actually get that CPU cooler on here without having to remove the board. Yeah, I understand, Ayami. Dead names suck. And yeah, I hope you trust me because I would never reveal something like that to anyone, ever. That is just between you and me and no one else. I'm trying to think. Okay. I think I know what I'm gonna do. From Ahty. You're valid. There we go. How's that? I'll DM everything I think you'd need now. Okay. And then you know, if I end up needing anything else, I'll ping you off stream. Yeah, I think this went together pretty well. I think I might clean this up a little bit more off stream, but I got all the basic stuff. And now, like, you know, if there's people in the stream right now that have never put together a PC, I mean, this is pretty easy, you know, in all honesty. I know it's easy for me to say that because I've been doing this shit for 20 years, but it really is. You just initially have to get beyond those that fear that you're gonna ruin something. You just got to get beyond that. And the only thing you really got to watch out for is is stuff that you can do research about. Like, you know, does the CPU that I selected, does that work with the motherboard I want to buy? That sort of thing. Just make sure the pieces, you know, work together. You be careful, you go slow. Don't assume stuff. If there's something that really doesn't make sense or you don't think you fully understand something, don't be afraid to ask a question or stuff like that. Um, like hell, I mean, like I'll answer any questions anybody could possibly have about this stuff. I love helping people out, like especially people who are building a PC for the first time, or even somebody who's built a lot of PCs who runs into a problem that they can't figure out. You know, I'm more than happy to help out with that stuff because the end goal is to just have something that works, right? You're doing something that, you know, frankly, not a lot of people do anymore. You know, there aren't a ton of people out there who build their own PCs now. It's super easy just to, like, you know, call or, you know, go on iBuyPower's website or CyberPower's website and just order something. But the thing is, the problem with doing things like that is that you're not learning anything. You're overpaying for parts, especially video cards, because like the companies like that, you might think that you're saving a little bit of money getting a pre-built over just getting a single video card, but you're really not because they hide the inflated video card price in with the price of that pre-built. Uh, the motherboard does not have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but I can arrange it to have those. If you need it to have Wi-Fi, I can install a Wi-Fi card. That's not a big deal because I have stuff like this. You could even do something USB. Yeah, this is a little dusty because I haven't used it in a while, but it's like a Netgear USB 3 Wi-Fi adapter. And I think this one is, let's see, it is the Netgear A6210. Let me see what that can do real quick. A6210. Okay. So the A6210 is AC 1200 high gain Wi-Fi USB adapter, 802.11's AC dual band USB 3. That would be perfect. But just in case also, what I'm going to send along with this is a long-ish Ethernet cable. So you'll be able to plug it in wired if you need to. Long enough Ethernet cable to run to the side of the house my room's on. Okay. Ah, no worries. I'll package that Wi-Fi adapter along with it too. And I'll give it all its proper testing too, so to make sure it's going to work pretty well for not only regular internet stuff, but also streaming too. No worries, no worries. I'm just glad, I'm just glad that you're gonna take it. Because honestly, like I was low key worried. I was low key worried that you would get mad and be like, Adi, like why would you do this? I mean, this is just I was afraid you were just gonna be like, this is too much, and then just not take it. I mean, so in my head when I was just when I was saying that like how do you like your new computer? I was over and over and over in my head. I was just like, please take it, please take it, please take it, please take it. Don't kill me, please take it. I used Powerline Ethernet adapters for a while until I moved the modem and my router upstairs. Yeah. The Powerline stuff is actually pretty good now. It used to be garbage, but yeah, it's pretty good now. Honestly, the only thing I am upset about is I can't hug you, but everything else I'm so thankful. Well, I wish I could hug you too, but the thing is though, I'm just glad you're around. You've been great, like, for with absolutely everything, and you've helped out so much. So I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to make something, to craft something for you. And then on top of that, having all the good beans of the PDX land community that I'm in step forward and contribute to this. It was incredible. I'm still really moved by it, and I will pay that kindness forward in some fashion. I'm just not sure how yet. But I figured, Yami, I figured that you've had enough stuff going around that I think some good fortune should come around your way, You deserve this. I can't express how much this means to me. It means a lot to me to be able to do it. Wake up juice. God. I am slightly sad that I have to give one of my babies away, but it's fine. It's completely fine. So yeah, I need to update the BIOS. I need to install CPU. I need to put the proper CPU cooler on it. I need to put lights in. I might save the light installation for another stream, like next weekend. No, I can't do it next weekend because that's Thanksgiving weekend. Maybe the weekend after, or maybe during the week sometime. I don't know. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Twitter and Discord about that, because I might have a separate stream where I do the lighting for it. Unless you don't want me to do lights, I could just not do lights. I mean, not the lights aren't everyone's cup of tea. But it is RGB, so you can make it pink if you want, or you can make it whatever color you want, really. That's actually part of the reason why I meant like the. If you were wondering why I selected a white case, it's so if you install lights, or if I install lights for you, it'll reflect a whole lot more, and it'll just bounce around all over the place on the inside of the case and look really good. Go nuts, Ahty. I'm honestly blown away. Oh, famous last words. If you tell me to go nuts, I will go nuts. Uh, do you intend to need a camera for streaming? Camera might be good if you intend on going with like a VTuber and use an application like that does motion tracking and things like that. Eventually, but it would be more so for a VTuber, yeah. So I have a Razer cam that I don't use anymore, has a built-in ring light, and connects via USB with good quality. Ooh, a ring light would be handy too. Because even for motion tracking for a VTuber, the cam will need somewhat decent light in order to be able to see you like blinking and moving your face and stuff. There we go. That's properly routed. So actually, funny story, Ayami. Funny story. So you remember it was a stream that we were both in with Sky a couple of weeks ago, where Sky was reading your tarot. Do you remember that? So one of the cards that she pulled in the description that she gave for it, said something about somebody is hiding something from you or something like that. I forget what the exact verbiage of that was, but it was at that point, like at that point in time, I was planning all of this stuff out, and I had literally, I was looking at this case on Newegg, and I was like, that's the perfect case for this. And she, like, I was watching the stream, and Sky said that like somebody is hiding something from you, and it was really, really spooky because like I was because I had already decided I was going to do this and that I had to keep a secret from you. So like, so I was just blown away and I was like actually pretty freaked out by it. So I DM'd Sky. And if you look back on that VOD, it's like that's when I told Sky that I had DM'd her something. Is that I told her about this. I was just like, I told her, I was like, it's really spooky that you would say something like that because I am hiding something from her. I'm doing this thing, but please keep it a secret. I mean, oh man. I was literally trying to keep this from everyone. I didn't want anybody to know about it, but it was just impossible. It was absolutely impossible. Yeah, none of that stuff is going anywhere. That is good. Yes, that was her reaction. Yeah, that was her poker face. I don't know if she's still lurking at all, but yeah. Yeah, that all looks really good. This came out really good. And it is really pretty. I like it a lot. Yeah, now that that's done, I can finish that. Put that zip tie on. I didn't even pick up on it, but now thinking about it, I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it freaked me out how accurate that was. I was like, what is going on? It's like, why does the world have to be so spooky? All right. Well, I mean, this PC build was actually a lot faster than I expected it would be. I guess it's not going to be in two segments. I didn't expect that I was going to finish it so fast. And that's just kind of a testament to like modern cases, right? And modern PC stuff is that it just goes together so easy now. It's all very intuitive, and you just got to think logically when you're building it, and it all makes sense. That's good. That's good. Alrighty. Take care, Paula. We will see you in a little bit. I want to do a white case build sometime. I got my level 20 TG just at the same time when the 4000D came out. Shot my own foot on that one. Oh yeah. Both of those are really good though. And hey, Ahty, when I say go nuts, I want it to be obvious. Ahty made this. I'm not going to put a sticker with my face on it. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, see, one of the things I'm kind of low-key worried about is when this is shipping, this this video card going somewhere, because it's not a light video card. So I'm gonna have to order on Amazon some of those expanding foam shipping bags. Like it's like basically a bag that goes in here, and then when you open it up, it expands and fills up all the negative space. I might have to do that for the inside of this chassis, which might make it a little complex when you pull it up, when you take it out of the box and pull the, when you gotta pull, you're gonna have to pull those out pretty carefully. But I just want this thing to get to you in one piece. Oh, and then that's a good point too. Let me flip it upside down here, carefully on its face. All right, so what you're gonna see on the back of this thing is this. So do not use these video ports. I mean, they might work when you plug stuff into them, but this is just going to be basic video only, really. So when you go to plug it in, use these down here where the video card is. This is where all your gaming performance and stuff is going to be. So you might be able to use this for other stuff, but yeah, definitely plug in here. Let me see. Okay, I just gotta watch for Paula because like when she goes live, I think we're gonna make our way over to there. Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So I'm still blown away. This will improve things massively for me. Yes, it will. Yeah, it absolutely will. Because like, with the capture device that Corrosion was talking about and this, all the cables and stuff, you should have everything you need to be able to do PC gaming and streaming and be able to capture console stuff and still be able to do that. So your console, you're not going to completely abandon the console, but you'll be able to do both. And you'll be able to have like be able to do your own overlay and like really kind of develop your brand as a streamer, and you'll be able to grow, and the thing is though, I know I've been to your streams before. I mean, you care about everybody. It's always super chill, and I think that you do have just a great recipe to like really succeed, and I'm your friend and I want to do whatever I can to help you get there. And this is part of it. And again, I wanted to do more than just like, like tip or like, sub and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff is all great, and it's a great way to support a streamer, and it goes a long way because, the revenue from that can really, get you into something like this. But the thing is, though, it would take a really long time to do that because computers aren't cheap, and I wanted you to be able to like, do stuff like right now, and the only way that I could really make sure that that was going to happen was build you something with my own two hands and ship it to you. And I'm just glad everything worked out well and that it was received well, obviously, and that, and that you accepted this. Because, like I said, I was low key worried that you weren't. Ah, this goes together so nice. Oh, and it's going to look so good with lights in it, too. And honestly, like I'm gonna check with my friend from Be Quiet and see. I've already got a heatsink lined up. Oddly enough, it's a Be Quiet heatsink, but like I've already got a heatsink lined up. But what we could do is kind of like an extra bonus, an extra insurance with this case, is I might tell him, be like, hey, I could use three fans because it'll do three fans up front here. It's like I could use three fans and pop those in. And I could actually do that at a later stream too. So I mean, if you don't need this immediately, it's going to take some time. Is there a shut the fuck up heatsink? I don't know. Like with Be Quiet, I mean, those heatsinks are about just about as shut the fuck up as you can get. I mean, they're literally the quietest things that I've ever not heard. I'm honestly wishing I could do something in return, but of course I accept it. Yeah, I mean, I said this before, that literally the only thing The only thing is just to be you, and that you're valid. Just be the person that you are right now, and that's thanks enough. Like the fan Jay's 2 cents used that goes Mach 1. I don't think I've seen that. That sounds interesting and also scary. But yeah. I don't want to ask for too much, but do whatever you think is necessary. I'll do bar. Yeah, okay, of course. When you do, his reaction is insane. That's funny. I know my house can get really hot, so it might help for sure. Okay. Give it flame decal so it'll go faster. Yeah, I could do that too. I'll draw them on myself. Although it won't be like, red and orange and yellow, though. It'll have to be like green, purple, and like brown, because those are the only Sharpies I could find anymore. Just kidding, I'm not going to do that. I'm starting to get hungry, despite I had breakfast. I don't know why I'm hungry already. But yeah, I'm still going to be streaming tonight. I'm going to be streaming again from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. PST. I'm going to do more Final Fantasy and see how far we can get. We're still chasing after VAW 3, so we'll see. We'll see how far we get. I know 3 hours of stream isn't really that long, but I don't want to rush through Final Fantasy. It's so good, I just don't want it to end. All right. So Paula just went live, and I think it would be fitting just to go hop over and raid. What do y'all think? I think it was kind of obvious. I already told y'all that I was going to raid Paula. Purple Flames would be kind of epic. Okay, I might try and do something like that. But let's go pop over to Paula because she's doing Vroom and Noom pretty soon here. All right. I think we're going. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, please stick around for the raid because Paula is such a good bean. She's amazing. So yes, when we pop over there, just show Paula some, love and stuff because she's amazing and the fastest donk ever. So yeah, and thank you all for coming. I mean, this was like pretty much my biggest, most important stream ever, and like y'all were a huge part of it. Thanks for being along for the ride. No, Yami, I'm honored. Thanks for having me in your orbit. All right. Yeah. So I'm ready to get some food and watch Paula do some neumes. So let's hop on over to her stream. Alrighty. Take care, folks. See you all hopefully at 6 p.m. PST. Alrighty. Take care, folks. Until then, have a good time.